I was just watching the video of the Stockton Mental Hospital and the 30 bodies found in the mass gravesite. I had an episode that makes me wonder if I may have not landed in one of those mass grave sites. And here is my absolute true story. Back in 1968, I signed myself into the Illinois State Psychiatric Institute of Chicago as an inpatient. While I was there, after a short while, the doctor, Dr. Retman, also had a nurse that would counsel me. Strangely enough, she started counseling me about vibrators, and if anybody wanted to have sex with me, I should let them because it was the cause of my depression. Being that I wanted to become a nun when I was younger, I was very religious, and this was shocking to me. But since my family was dysfunctional, I was more or less on my own, and I think he knew that's why he could prey on me, being that I came from a poor white Polish family of 15, where Daddy only made minimum wage and no help from the government or anything. Our poverty was just that ravishing. And he knew I had no one to turn to. So it was a little while after that, he wanted to have our sessions behind two-way mirrors. And I didn't know who was behind the mirrors. He just told me that they were professors and other psychiatrists and students from around the world that were going to study our case. The odd thing was, though, that therapy changed in that he started making me look crazier than I really was. I had never had hallucinations or delusions, and it was, everything seemed exaggerated. But I didn't give it a second thought. I thought maybe I was just scared. After I was discharged, I went back to him as an outpatient, and he had been a studying doctor, the head of the unit, and I was to see him, who had also graduated. Well, believe it or not, I know you will be shocked, but he raped me, and he ejaculated in me, and I ran out. It was just so fast. I still can't believe it. I could not talk about it for like 40 years, okay? Because this was in 1968. Anyways, I skipped my period, and I thought I was pregnant with his child, the psychiatrist's child, and I called him back. I didn't say anything on the phone, and I met him again as an, I thought that, I mean, that's where he raped me, and I just, was legitimately scared. Not paranoid because nothing's bothering you, but I was really threatened. And a young woman carrying a child, and I confronted him with it. I said, Dr. Retman, I think I'm pregnant with your baby. And all of a sudden the mask came off of him, and he was an ugly creature. I mean, not really ugly, but he wasn't the nice, kind, sweet doctor that is so consoling and helpful. The sex was for his pleasure, his immediate pleasure. And so, and then I said to him, I said, I think I'm pregnant with your baby. And he said, if you tell anybody what happened between us, I will have you committed to an insane asylum for life. He says, I have 10 witnesses against you that'll prove you're crazy. And I went, what are you talking about? And he said, remember those two-way mirrors? He says, any one of those people would testify that you were crazy. And he further said, I have a Jewish wife and Jewish children, and this would ruin me forever. So again, I left the office, and it turned out I wasn't pregnant. And I never wrote about it because he did threaten me. And I went back to school to write my memoirs. And as I was writing, I was able to get like a half a sentence out about this episode. It was so painful. And then the more writing I did, the more confident I became that, it wasn't my fault. Years ago, they didn't have places for women to go to that were raped. Um, and I tried to get a complaint against him just recently in Chicago, in the state of Illinois, and the state of Florida where he lives, at least to acknowledge and put it on record that he did not get away with the perfect crime. I mean, I ask you, my audience, think, if I were pregnant, what would he have done? Put me in an insane asylum? Could he leave me walking around saying, I'm pregnant with Dr. Rettman's baby, and then having my big belly there? He certainly couldn't have afforded that. There would have been drastic measures against. Certainly the baby would have had to be aborted. Would he have killed me? Would he have given me shock treatments? Would I be one of those bodies in a mass grave? He could not have allowed me to walk around and tell this story. I don't know what would have happened. I wasn't pregnant. It was a false pregnancy. Anyways, I got sadly, I got the information back, and the state of Florida said that that his actions were unacceptable. That's all they said, unacceptable, but not illegal for their purposes. Just unacceptable. You go in there with severe depression, get raped. I mean, they're supposed to help you, not kill you in one of these places, whether it's physically or mentally. You just don't do that to a patient. And so far nothing is coming back to me because of statute of limitations. And but I did see this, and my heart went out to the people that are looking, for relatives, and I think we really must consider what things were done in the past, and not only that, what is going on today, that we're creating people that are so unhappy, depressed, schizophrenic, bipolar, and everything else. If we were living in a society where there wasn't so much terror of crime and rape and murder and collapse of the economy and all this other stuff that we're putting up with, I don't think we'd have that much mental illness. So I wish well all the people that are looking to see it, if these bodies are relatives, to make closure. And I thank you for listening to my true story.